You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm back again. I just got finished talking to Stephen Lang and Larry Walters from the Fair Tax, and I got Stephen Lang from up in Powder Springs, Georgia, but I got Rob Lapham. He is running for U.S. Congress District 2. Going to go to Washington, D.C. He'd like to go up there and take Gwen Graham's place, who's up there as a Democrat. She's a Democrat. He's a Libertarian. Now, I've talked to you, Rob, about this. Why should anyone vote for a Libertarian? Because we've had people from the executive committee of the Republican Party say, you will have no party if you can't join the Republican caucus or the Democratic caucus. You'll just be a voice crying in the wilderness. Is there any truth to that?
James, there's one thing I'll guarantee. If anybody votes Republican in this election for Congress, for the congressional seat, I guarantee you that the debt is going to continue to increase. They always spend more money than they take in. They've been doing it since 1929 when Calvin Coolidge left office. The same thing happens if a person votes Democrat. The budget will continue to increase. They will spend more money than they take in.
Right.
It doesn't matter what they've said. Doesn't matter whether Republicans or Democrats control the House of Representatives, where all the money bills originate. So if you want to see your debt continue to go up, then vote Republican or Democrat. But that's the outcome, and make no mistake about it. It doesn't matter what the people say who are running for office. When they get to Washington, they undergo this change. And even as recently as December, the day before Speaker Boehner left his position, the Republicans and the Democrats got together and passed a bill to allow the debt ceiling to rise all the way up through March of 2017. Basically gave Obama a free ride for the rest of his administration.
Why? I've got to ask you a question. Why would they do that? I mean, what would be the political purpose of that? Is just to go home early for Christmas and forget about it for a year and a half and not worry about our debt? Is that the reason?
Well, Washington is a different animal. It's called the Washington bubble. When you look at all the people who work for our 435 Congress people, there's more than 5,000 of them. If you Google congressional staff at Wikipedia, you'll see it all laid out there. There's more than 5,000 people who handle all of their incoming, whether it's mail or policy positions, what have you. They all want to keep their jobs. They do not care about the voters back in wherever it was that the congressperson was elected from. And they have a vested interest in keeping things going as they are. Then you have the many thousands of lobbyists. So, as I say, a congressperson going to Washington, be it a Republican or a Democrat, we've seen the results. And this is not just speculation. The U.S. Treasury puts out these reports. I have information on my website, robforcongress.org. Okay. And that's just the way it is with these folks.
Now, I know that Gwen Graham has not decided if she's going to run because she's looking at the congressional districts, and I understand those have been held up. I mean, they're going to hold, right? Is that the way I understand?
Well, she has not declared as of this morning, but she will pretty quick. Her reason for not declaring was she said she wanted to see what would happen with Rep. Corinne Brown's federal challenge to the redistricting.
Right.
And that was rejected by the federal court yesterday.
Right.
So Congresswoman Graham has got to, declare or do something, and I would expect probably she would decide that in the next week. But we'll wait and see.
Now, one of the things I've noticed, everybody talks about throw the bums out. We don't want to reelect Congress, but, we don't want to keep reelecting the same problem. But if you look back at history, incumbents have, a 98% reelection rate? Or is that maybe I'm off a little bit, but it's extremely high. They get reelected into office, and it seems to be that everyone says, well, the other congressman's corrupt and doing it. It's not my congressman. But the reality is, or congressperson, the reality is it seems like we only put people in Congress to send pork back to their districts. And that's not how it should be, but we seem to be encouraging it, like feel the burn, but we send people up to Congress to bring money back to us because that's our, it seems that way. Am I wrong on that observation, or is that just me being a little too jaded?
No, you're right on, James, and certainly the re-election rate is better than 90% for the folks that are there. Once you're in, you have money flowing in from lobbyists. You have the ability in an election, especially if there's a tight race, to load the airwaves with your television commercials, get your name out there. It's all in name recognition.
True.
And frankly, a large chunk of the voting base, they vote for a name. They have not necessarily looked in detail at that person's policies or what they say they're going to do. And some folks just vote a ticket. If their family was a Republican, they may tend to vote Republican. Same thing if their family was Democrat. That may be a driver in how they vote. They're not looking at the issues. They feel that they have done their duty by going to the voting booth and voting. But if you don't know what you are voting for, frankly, you're shooting yourself in the foot, I would say.
Well, a lot of people seem to be doing that over and over again. I think what they said is that the sign of insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results.
And James, I'd like to make a request,
Sure.
if I may.
Please.
Last night I was at Mariana at a meeting of the Concerned American Patriots group, and there are about 50 people at that meeting, and they invited me to say a few words, and they're going to invite me back.
Good.
What I've discovered is that there are a lot of groups across the 19 counties that make up District 2 that I'm running in, and they're not necessarily registered with the State of Florida Division of Elections. They don't have to be.
True.
I am trying to identify groups that are interested in a speaker. Obviously, my orientation is Libertarian, but if any of your listening audience is aware of groups that might like to have me speak, please go up on my website, robforcongress.org, and my phone number and address and contact information is there. And there's also a donate page in case someone would like to contribute to my campaign.
Absolutely. You need to donate. And fair disclosure, I am the treasurer for Rob Lapham's campaign for Congress. If you look on his website, it's James Morris Treasurer. So any monies you send will be duly noted and a receipt will be returned to you. But now, Bay Patriots might be a group you'd be interested in talking to here in Panama City, Florida. They meet on the first, I believe, the first or second Tuesday of the month. And I will be contacting them and see if they can talk to you as well. Bay Patriots.
James, be assured that if there's an invitation, I will be there. I put these, I schedule everything on a calendar, and I'm quite certain I can make a first or a second Tuesday. Can't make the third Tuesday because the Concerned American Patriots up in Mariana has asked me back. So
that's a prior commitment. That's a very, very
I'd be delighted. I really would be.
Well, we're going to find out and get you. People need to find out that you offer a fresh voice in a sea of wilderness out there. It really is. We need a fresh voice. Anyway, thank you so much, Rob. I got to get Kenny with his '87 Chevy V6 S10, and thank you so much, Rob. We'll be talking to you next Tuesday at the same time. All right, I got Kenny on here. Kenny, you got an '87 S10 V6. What is the problem with that vehicle, sir?
I'm having idling problems with it. When I go to leave, I have to crank it like 2, 3, 4 times before I never get it out of my yard. And when I first crank it up, it idle right for just a minute, then it idle up real high and for a few seconds, and then it idle back down until it just shuts off.
Now,
and then when I get into town or something, I might be sitting at a red light and it'll be idling fine, and all of a sudden it'll idle up real high and idle down till it dies.
Okay, now this is an onboard diagnostics first generation. Does this have throttle body, or is this a Vortec engine? What kind
It's got a throttle body.
Got a throttle body. That means it runs 9 to 12 psi of pressure. What I have found over the years, I'm just telling you, anything less than 12 psi on the fuel pump will cause the problems you're talking about. Not telling you that's it, but they'll start up fine and they'll run okay. And after they run about in a minute or two, they start dropping off because it starts leaning out the mixture, and now it's not delivering enough fuel because the oxygen sensors woke up and the car starts starving for fuel, and it actually runs out of gas, can't get enough fuel, and so the car will starve. Does that make sense to you, sir?
Yes, sir.
What I want you to do, if you're in the neighborhood, if you're in the Panama City area, if you want to, come by James Auto Center. I'll grab a scanner and I can tell you on a test drive if you got a fuel delivery problem. Okay?
Okay, well, I'm in Bonifay, but
well, if you can get down this way, just give us a call. Are you able to drive it, or is it not drivable?
Oh, yeah, you can drive it. It's just aggravating because it won't idle right.
Well, if you can drive it down here, try not to stop at too many red lights. We'll take a look at it for you and try to point you in the right direction. If you want us to fix it or take care of it, I'll even loan your truck to get you back to Bonifay, okay?
All right, I appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome, sir. Thanks for calling. Hey, this is James Morris. We got to go. The show is over for the day. It's been a great show. We actually talked about cars a little bit. Hey, if you got a car question, give us a call tomorrow morning at 6 to 6:30 on Fox 28 on WPGX. Fox 28, we're here every morning from 6 to 6:30 answering questions and bringing forth topics you need to know about. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Bye-bye, everybody.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.